What's going on, guys? I'm gonna post this on James Freeman's page here, and I'm gonna let y'all see this real quick before I get into other things. Women are used as predators on men's desires. The Illuminati or the secret society exploits this. Okay. And this is one of his videos, his recent videos. Say, look at that. Look at that, guys. After 21 seconds each time. 21 seconds each time. It used to be like 15. No, it was like 18, my bad. It was like 18 seconds. It used to just be 18 every fucking time. Now it's 21 seconds. There we go. There we go. Yep. Don't know what that's about, but I guess they just censoring my comments. Deleting them after I leave the page, I guess. You know how it goes. But anyway, I want to tell y'all about something, man. Tell y'all about these girls that I met. The first one that lost her memory, these girls lost their memory after supposedly lost their memory after and I think that they willingly went along with this shit and played like, because I never met any of their friends, or you know what I mean, I never met anyone close to them to know that they lost their memory or whatever, you know. And you know, these girls used to break up with me. I never broke up with them, and it was always after we had sex. But these girls, man, after, well, you know, it'd be a couple days after we had sex or some shit, or and then they would fucking tell me, you know, like, or they wouldn't message me at all. They wouldn't message me ever again, actually. But there was a girl in Arkansas when I was staying in Texas. I forget that girl's name. She's like the first one. This was in like 2015, 2016, man. You know, and that's about the time I left Texas. But these motherfuckers, man, they fucking ended up saying that you know, cause I'll message them, and I'm like, you know, I'm dedicated. Back then, even back then, I'm dedicated to, you know, to the female. Okay, you know, I'm persistent, and I would be like, you don't remember me. She's like, oh no, I lost my memory, yada yada yada, and all this. I think she's lying out her ass. You know, it just doesn't seem like she. It's like, so I talked to her, right, and she starts talking to me, and I mean, she can drive a car. We went to a concert that night. You know, we went to a fucking concert that night. It's odd. It's fucking odd. Cause she's like, oh, you want to go to a concert with me? All this other shit. She's just trying to fuck. To me, she's just trying to get in bed, and because we went to her house an hour away. Hell, I drove us to her fucking house. Like, I used her car to drive there and back. And this bitch, man, straight fucking up, just, yeah, I think they're one of them, really. I mean, they're 3 times in a fucking row, like not even in a row, but you get what I mean. Three girls in my whole life lost their fucking memory. Okay, in a car accident each time. I think this is all a front. This is how they work, guys. This is one of their little operations in society. Alright? And this this bitch, man, fucking ended up dropping me off the map. Like, or she dropped herself off the map. Like, I couldn't contact her. She wouldn't answer her phone. She wouldn't talk to me or anything. And I let it go. Of course, I let her go. Whatever, that's fine. But she dropped me, and I had like, fuck, I didn't even have a girlfriend after that. There was this other chick, fuck, she was like 35, I was like 20. I was the only chick I really messed around with after that. And it was on her birthday. And then, after about a good year later or some shit, I left. Something like that. And then, I came here to New Mexico. Oh, fuck, she wasn't the first one. God damn. Wait, was she? No, cause I was in Missouri. Gosh, man, this is all like 10 years ago, man. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. The first one was Haley Vore, then the unknown name girl, I forget her name, and then the third one was Yvette Hernandez, that girl that I posted with the Snapchat and shit. We had a conversation about it, and she said, what did she say? She said, oh, what if I didn't want to remember you and all this other shit? And I'm like, cause this girl, man, she's talking about being this so-called elitist, trying to put herself above me, saying that you're just a dirty, uh, motherfucking homeless dumbass and jobless and all that. This is how they work, guys. This is how they put this is what the Illuminati secret society wants to put in people's heads, and it runs through society like a fucking virus, because these motherfuckers know what they're doing. They go along with it because society fucking peer pressures the ones that aren't going along with it. And then they got this whole fucking society shit going on, and it spreads like a fucking virus. And it's just, y'all know what I'm talking about. And these motherfuckers, man, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, so what wound up happening is I ended up being with her, and her name's Haley Vore. Haley Vore. This was a while back. I don't even remember the year. I'm just gonna tell y'all. This girl, man, me and her went out for a little while, and when I left to go back to Texas, because my fucking father, okay, he's one of them. He was one of them. He ended up giving in to these motherfuckers. He was fighting them for a little while. I'll admit that. I remember hearing stories. He would fight these motherfuckers, and they would pull knives on him and do all kinds of shit, man. And yeah, and they used to threaten me as a kid. I remember this shit happening. They used to go by, do a drive-by, and they would shoot guns in the air and all this shit, man. And we're kids, and we're just playing, playing around in the yard and doing all this shit, right? They fucking start shooting in the air, man. Fucking my dad chases them down and doing all this shit, man. And I'm, this is how they work. This is how they do it, guys. So anyway, after my dad stabbed me, I fucking left there, and I was with her for a little while after that, but I left. She was sad, I was sad, but you know, she had family in Missouri at the time, and she didn't want to leave. And I'm like, well, once you have the time, she got pregnant before I could even, how it goes. But she ended up claiming that, no, I don't remember you. I barely remember you, and yada yada yada. She's like, and I'm like, You know, is it because of the ice, the meth you smoked, and all this shit and all that? And she's like, possibly. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. But I met her. She forgot me. Yada yada. Two of them had car crash. That one, anyway. The second one, the third one. Okay, we're gonna go to the third one. Yvette Hernandez. Fucking bitch, man. She was like, this is how they do it, guys. They'll fucking put on this whole. There's what do you call those? Fuck. Fucking psychopath liars. I don't know. Sociopath. Yeah. Sociopathic liars. These motherfuckers will come up with fake names and fronts for who they really are. Okay. They do it to their kids as well. I've noticed it that they do it with their kids. They'll have their kid's name as something else. Okay? And then they'll fucking call her when they go back home to their family, cuz I used to know this family that lived next to me. And they would always call her a different name than a name when she that was like their niece or whatever. And they would their parents would come pick them up, and that's like their uncle and aunt that lived next to me, right? Well, they'll use these aliases, these names, and then they'll fucking send them back to their home, like maybe they'll go home, right? And their family apparently calls them something else. You find out about that shit, and it's like it's weird, and it happened twice. I know this guy. I was roommates with him, and he had a friend that was a girl, and she had a daughter that she would bring over sometime, right? And they called her something else, okay? But come to find out that her real name was, you know what I mean? It's fucking weird. So I'm thinking that they're sending these fucking girls into my life to try to make me look like a pedophile, to try to get me to do something or something. Like, this is what I really truly think. Because this is what they do. They try to get you, try to blackmail you, try to have some kind of power over you to try to push fear through your head, try to, get you to go fucking ballistic with fear. But yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. But this third girl, man, a vet, um, fucking, we winded up meeting the night that we talked. Fucked. The next day, it was over. She fucking didn't want to be with me. She stopped responding to me. Um, you know what I mean? She dropped off the fucking face of the earth. Uh, I go and dude, there's this guy that she was roommates with. This guy was with this girl, and this was all in Sunland Park, New Mexico. And this was after I moved from Texas to New Mexico and yada yada. But this fucking girl, man, uh, she had this roommate, and he had a girlfriend, and or she, they were with each other. That he had somebody. They had each other, right? And she was like the third bitch, and they're like, whatever, third person in that whole apartment. Fucking ended up texting the same number, because this was after she had her accident or something. And I ended up getting in contact with her roomie, and he kept claiming that, because I remember it was her roomie, because we talked over the phone before she had her accident. And I texted like, what, you know, I don't know how many months later. I text months later, and come to find out she ended up having some kind of car accident. I found that out somehow. But it wasn't through him. It was through, God, I gotta remember that. Oh, it was her. It was her. Yeah. Okay. She told me directly. A vet told me directly. But her roommate kept claiming that, because he acted like I couldn't recognize his voice. I recognized this dude's voice as her previous roommate, and apparently, this is weird. Apparently, uh, her number was his number. Some fucking how. Okay? And he kept saying, "Oh, you got the wrong number. This isn't a vet." And he kept laughing about it. Just kept laughing about it every time. Like, dude, I know what the fuck you're doing, motherfucker. You gotta be one of her handlers or something, dude. You know? And this bitch, man, she tried to get away from her husband, um, which was a cop. And I genuinely think, because she even told me, she said, uh, he's dead to me. He's fucking, he's a piece of shit and all this, that, and the other. And I go to mention this shit to her after she lost her memory and all this shit. Guess who? Guess who the fuck answers the phone after I started trying to inquire? This is the first time I started texting her, though. Because it was after me and this police bitch talked that she mentioned that she lost her memory and all this, that, and the other. She even told me that she saw the same guy that I was talking about. Because she had pictures online and all this shit. And this is, it just doesn't add up, guys. Because she was like, no way. No way. I was not with him, you know, like, before we met. We just met and all this other shit. Like, after she lost her memory. She said something about, no, 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 no. Okay. They tried to convince her that she was with this police guy that started trying to talk to me, get information. He was getting information out of me the first time I texted a vet after she lost her memory, which I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. We started talking, but it wasn't her. It was this fucking cop, man. It was this bitch ass. I know it was. I know it was her previous husband. This guy, this bitch, this piece of shit that she said that she said that he was dead to her. Like, she hated this dude. So it didn't make sense. But she said that she saw this same dude, because he was getting information out of me, and he was playing it off that it was her, okay, and all this other shit, which is weird. It's really weird. It's like, if it was her, then she was fishing for information, man, trying to find out who I was, doing all this shit. Like, how did we meet? Like, what's your name? And I kept telling her, I'm like, dude, you said that this guy was dead to you and all this other shit. And see, it's weird because after me and that dude talked, and she said, after me and that dude talked, we started talking, the real her. I think it was the real her, because she started saying, like, no, no, you're wrong. I never said that about him. I never said anything like that, yada, yada, yada. And she told me that she lost her memory. This is when I found out she lost her memory, right? She lost her memory. Um, and then, God, what happened after that? Fuck, yeah, okay. No, it wasn't. No, okay. Yeah, God. This was like 5 years ago. Oh my God, man. I'm so sorry. Okay. Then the police came in. The police guy, her husband, came in and was trying to find out who the fuck I am and all this, that, and the other. Because she was like, no, I never said that about him. I met him whenever I had my car crash. I remember that we, no, she didn't remember that they were together, but she said we were together before I had my accident and all this, that, and the other. And before she had her accident, she told me that she was, that she hated this dude. And I'm talking about dudes on her Facebook. This dude that she was posing with in the pictures and shit. Uh, she said that this police guy did did drugs and all this shit. And fucking the bitch was like just in disbelief, and then this fucking guy trying to get information out of me, her husband, so-called police husband, and then she met him at the car crash whenever she had her accident, and she couldn't remember shit and all this, that, and the other. And then, yeah, dude, it just doesn't make sense. I'm trying to get it all together. It's just been a long time. But, yeah, man, that shit just doesn't make sense. Because she said that this dude was dead to her. She told me that. She said he tried to get her to do drugs and all this shit. He was trying to be her handler. Dude, she was being passed from this couple. And dude, to me, I think the bitch was replaced. You know, or something, because she's going along with this shit too fucking well. She was trying to run from it. I think she was. I think she was trying to run from it. This is the girl. I'll show y'all. But this is the girl. There it is. Acacia 4021. Katia 4021. You guys should definitely add her or something, you know? Keep an eye out. Look for shit. Talk to him. Maybe you can talk to him, get some information. I don't know. But this shit, man. And I just created this snap. And I saw the number that she used for her snap. You know, like, you know how it goes. You can fucking add people through contacts and shit. Saw her, and I'm like, okay, I'll message her, see what's up. It's been like fucking forever since all that shit happened anyway, and all this, that, and the other. I don't know, man. It's just not right. There's just something not right. And she lied about the color of her vehicle, the brand, or not the color of the vehicle, but the brand of the vehicle. And she was like, maybe I didn't want to remember you, and all this other shit, dude. It's fucking crazy. These 3 bitches in my life. And I'm not trying to be symbolic. I'm not trying to throw out this whole fucking number game that the Illuminati does. And I want y'all to see some of the shit that this guy
make copies and get them out to your friends. That's what it's all about. After one of my lectures, here's about 2 years ago, this is why I changed my mind from and using the word loose-knit network to conspiracy. After one of my lectures,
and guys,
a gentleman came up and gave me a book. He said, Ted, in fact, that lecture was specifically...
You saw that right there? You saw my location signal. It just like popped up on the right side of the screen there, right? Up on the notification bar. Well, they hack my shit, right? And they'll fucking ping my location, and this shit will turn on by itself. Check this shit. I have it all off. My places. Yeah, okay. I have that off. Emergency location. I have that off. Google location history. That shit's not even on. Yeah. None of this shit's on, man. App level permissions. All off. Except... Yeah, I guess I did try to upload a video at one point. And even after I fucking do that, they still ping my location. I've tried to turn it off every which way. Sure have. Oh, fuck. But yeah, guys, they ping my location. And it'll go right back on. This guy was a target as well. He fucking, this guy's in prison, actually.
There's an audience president. I mean, listen, Saturday FA, I'm holding my tongue right now because I really just want to go off the handles immediately. Hey, can you guys see the... Right, come on up here if you want, bud.
I guess he
I'm Saturday, I go off the rails, I feel like. I feel like Saturday is the day.
Oh, yeah.
And to celebrate this new freedom, there's a puppy. There's a salty old bitch, and there's a guy that carries a weapon that records in sandals, and then there's this guy who apparently, Richard, could have a way better haircut. It's like a Conan O'Brien thing with more gray.
I think you look great.
You have to say that. You're pretty much.
It does remind me of Conan O'Brien.
It is. It's like Conan O'Brien.
Just got up.
Yeah, I'm going to say hi to Crazy Frenchman. He's hung around. He's stuck it out.
And all
Hey,
these
French.
females surround this guy a lot. And I think a lot of these females are one of them. But, yeah, man, I want to go back. He was a victim. They targeted him pretty hardcore.
Any of my research that you buy, please make copies and get them out to your friends. That's what it's all about. After one of my lectures, here's about 2 years ago, this is why I changed my mind from and using the word loosen-it network to conspiracy. After one of my lectures, a gentleman came up and gave me a book. He said, Ted, in fact, that lecture was specifically on the McDonald case. Ted, here's what it's all about. Take this book and read it. And this is the book, folks. It's called Pawns in the Game. Now, if you don't know this book, you don't know of it, I urge you to buy it. I've been trying to buy it, but I noticed one of the vendors...
Yeah, I want to go...
Boy, if that isn't Bill Clinton, I never saw it, never heard it before. That man is unbelievable. As former Congressman Denemeyer describes him, he's a draft-dodging, womanizing, pathological liar, and he certainly fits into item number 10. Number 11 dealt with war, number 11 theory, and gold. In 1773, Adam Weizsäcker set down policies that were publicly announced in 1939, folks. 1773, publicly announced 1939 by Britain and the United States. And the war should be directed so that the nations on both sides are placed further in debt and peace conferences conducted so neither combatants obtain territorial rights.
Remember that time where they were talking about Trump relieving his duty to the United Nations and he refused? Remember that shit?
Perfect example. Stalin, Roosevelt, Winston Churchill after World War II. Number 12.
Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of the British back in during World War II and shit like that. I'm pretty sure that's who it was. Let's see who it was. Winston Churchill. God, it's been forever. Prime Minister of... Oh, it's the United Kingdom. My bad. Yeah, that was during the time of the Second World War. Oh, my bad.
Well, told those present that they must use their wealth to have candidates chosen to public office who would be obedient to their demands.
I think the United Kingdom was part of the British, or the Britons, or whatever, right? Weren't they? I don't know.
And would be used as pawns in the game by the men behind the scenes. The advisors will have been bred, reared, and trained from childhood to rule the affairs of the...
Remember me telling y'all about those girls having different names? Whenever they go home to their families, somehow or some way, they just have a different name. Their name is not the one that they'll say. Cause where I'm at the time of seeing these girls, man, that's not their real name. People will start calling these girls a different name, and I'm like, why are y'all calling them that name? But her real name is this. You know, and this happened twice to me in my life.
World. We have that today without any question.
And I'm thinking these little girls, man, they're being into it. They're going into it. See, like, my name was supposed to be Lee Fan, okay? Where this whole anti-Asian hate shit and all that. We're supposed to be the ones that are brought up into the shit, okay? And given code names, okay? So we wage war on the populace, on our own fucking fellow men and women and all this shit, dude. So it's a whole civil, you know what I mean? Civil unrest, you know? This is what he's talking about.
The men behind the scenes. Number 13, control the press.
And when I say Lee Fan, my name is supposed to be Lee Fan. No, that was Megan, I think. My sister, Megan. I think that's, yeah. I think so. But yeah, that was her code name, or yeah, some shit. I was supposed to be a girl. I was a failure. I was supposed to be a girl because based on my heartbeat, they was like, "Oh no, it's a girl," because I had a fast heartbeat. But slower heartbeats indicate that you're a boy before you're born. Under sonar and all, heartbeat tests, all that shit. So it's like, they were. I guess they, that would probably have been my name. Is what I'm really assuming. Lee Fan, my code name, if I was to have been a girl, but I wasn't. And my sister Megan looks almost identical to me. She's like my twin. She was born a year later, but she was born a female. It's weird. And my mom, she's always acted like she was under the influence of drugs. When she didn't even do drugs, she acted all fucking crazy and delusional, and fucking they hypnotized her. They had to have hypnotized her because there was a guy. I'll have to find the video. But there was a guy on YouTube that I found that talks about Donald Marshall's whole claims and everything with the Boys from Brazil. He mentions the movie Boys from Brazil, and he's like, this is how cloning is done. He's talking about cloning, and fucking God, I forget his name. For Camp David, though, he talks about Camp David being a cloning facility. There's a cloning facility under Camp David. Gosh. Or Fort David. I think it's Fort David. But he ends up mentioning something about... Fuck, what were we even talking about? Oh my God. I'm having a brain fart. I barely get any sleep anymore. The last 2 days, 2 nights, I've been waking up over and over, and I kept repeating shit. The first night that I kept waking up like this in a row was whenever I was talking before, as I was waking up. I'm like, no, I'm not joining you, and all this other shit. I was like, I guess this is a cloning update too, but I was like, no, I'm not going to join you, or fuck, something about the number 6. I'm like, fuck that number or something. And then the next night, and this happened. This has been going on for 2 nights in a row. They didn't do it a third time. But 2 nights in a row, they were like trying to get me to join them. I guess the second night in a row, I guess they were torturing my clone, and I had an after effect of that. I'm like, I don't know, man. But I started repeating the number 6 the second night. It was fucking weird, bro. They got in my head so hard that night. I guess they got me repeating that shit. Like I accept, or I said something along those lines. I said something, man. I know I did. I mean, I'm me. I can't just sit here and make this shit up. I'm not gonna make this shit up. But they want me to convince myself that I made this shit up. They're trying to, this is what they do. They'll fucking comment on my shit back then, because I would be unsure of what I said or something, and they'll be like, oh yeah, you're on drugs, you're on fucking meth, yada yada yada, fucking schizophrenic, yada yada yada. Shut the fuck up, bitch. They haven't been on my shit in a long time, because everybody knows y'all's little fucking psychological games, bro. Y'all are full of fucking shit. Y'all are motherfucking cowards, and you always will be. Anyway, guys, but like I said, man, they did that to me, and, I didn't say anything. I should have made a video, but I'm including it now.
If you heard my lecture yesterday on Oklahoma City, I documented that the mainstream media is being controlled by the big power people, by the phony politicians, by the bureaucrats, without any question about it. Information in the media, I have an itchy nose today. Maybe I'm going to kiss a fool or something, okay? We have a documentation of that, and I have that in some of my lecture material out here, and also my books. Number Number 14, their agenteurs will come forward after fomenting traumatic situations and appear to be the saviors of the masses when they are actually interested in just the opposite, the killing of the masses. The riots in Watts, the riots.
And y'all saw that makes me want to go to this, because this is their whole agenda. This whole agenda is about human sacrifice, human killing off the humans, basically killing us off. That's what this is about. That's mostly what this agenda is. It's to just kill off the whole, mostly the whole population, using us, human beings, against,
South Central LA, folks. Number 15, create industrial depression and financial panic, unemployment, hunger, shortage of food.
And I'm sorry that I go off a little bit. I go off subject sometimes, and it's just like I have a one-track mind, guys. It's just, it goes around in one, you know what I mean? It only goes in one direction. I can't, I'm sorry about that, man.
This to control the masses or the mobs and use the mob to wipe out all those who dare to stand in the...
That's exactly what I was just telling y'all about, using us against each other.
way. Well, I'll tell you right now, every expert I've talked to is talking about food shortage.
And see what they do is they'll spread this whole fucking lie, and they'll try to convince people to try to fucking cause mass panic. That's what they want to do. They want to fucking it's all an illusion. It's all a fucking circle. And until the circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, because it's that's just like a fucking, you know how they do it, with the circle going and insert the line going in circles, and then you fucking turn it, or the lines just keep. It's an illusion, guys. It's a whole fucking illusion, and that's what y'all don't get. It is a circle, because what they'll do is they'll fucking repeat it over and over and over and over and over. And that's where they get that from, guys.
Coming, I'm convinced. And we also know about the market crashing here in October. I had a market specialist on my radio talk show, and if you don't listen to my show, I urge you to, because it's a real good, solid education for you. Just this week, George Green, he was also on my show on October the 6th. George told us on October 6th there would be a crash of the market in October.
See, they've been saying that since 2000 and before. Even back in the 60s, there was supposedly a virus, just like the COVID one, back then as well. And nobody's going to mention that. No, history has been, how do you say it, erased. You know, a lot of people don't even, think about it. But back then, they did it too. Because I heard it from an old man. I heard it from a guy. And he said that when he was in school, that shit was going on like COVID. Just like COVID. But it wasn't COVID. It was called something else. I forget what he said, but yeah.
It came. Now he told us this week.
And I'm going to repeat this. Whenever I went to court, and, you're talking about jurisdiction and all this shit, because in my previous videos I mentioned how the Fed has no jurisdiction on the U.S. soil, which they don't. They really don't. They're here as trespassers. They're trespassing against us, guys. And that's what y'all don't get. They're fucking treasonous motherfucking dogs that need to be put in the ground. Alright? So these motherfucking treasonous motherfuckers, they targeted this one guy, and he knows about how the Spetsnaz, the fucking Russians, whatever, are working with us. Okay? Working with Americans, the U.S. Alright? And they have these secret camps, these secret training facilities. And it's all above ground, too. Secret training facilities. And they got these drones. And Donald Marshall even talks about this. This guy, this old man. He went to war in the Vietnam War or something. And he was like this veteran. And he fucking found out all this shit. They had him doing some secret operations and all this shit, right? They brought him into it. He fucking got out of that shit real quick, and they tried to pin a charge on him. Some kind of fucking cyber charge, something about him having something technologically, like some kind of evidence they had on him, and it was like all a bluff. It was a lie. The court was lying. He goes in there and he starts stating how the Constitution says we give our posterity to ourselves and our, and yada yada yada, and our liberty to ourselves, our freedom to ourselves. But you go to the New Mexico Constitution and it says we give our liberty to the Almighty God, and our freedom to the state, and yada yada yada. You're conforming to statutes, man. If you agree to this shit, that's what y'all don't get. It's all a big fucking lie, a stage, an illusion, to try to convince you, oh, well, you're gonna have to conform to this shit, which this whole fucking court is not based on facts. This is not a factual court. This is a court, a colorable court of law. Just like all these motherfucking police and sheriff, they're all colorable fucking individuals, bro. Colorable law officials. They're not even, dude. They just merely act like it. All right. And then when he mentioned this shit, when he talked about the in the beginning of the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, and the fucking New Mexico Constitution, and he stated that to the judge. The judge was like, "Oh, you're fucking sick. You got issues, man. There's something wrong with you, bro." They dropped the charges right then and there. And they did the same shit to me. They were like, "Oh man, you're sick in the head. We'll see you." My fucking public defender, when the fucking judge and the public defender agreed on record that I would represent myself. They started talking about, "Oh, you're crazy, man." They went behind my back afterward, and they were like, "Oh, you're crazy. We're gonna end up doing a fucking competency test, yada 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 yada," and they fucking did it, right? They did the same thing to this guy that was telling me how he knew about the Constitution, how it was all a big fucking lie. I didn't know. I tried to find out what he was trying to say, and I remember him saying it in the beginning of the Constitution. It says this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, so it's in the beginning of the Constitution, yada yada. I still remember that shit to this day. He would never give me his phone number. Ever. I'm like, dude, I wish I could get you on YouTube. I wish I could make a YouTube video with you, because all the shit you're telling me, not a lot of old people know about this shit. Not his age. He's like 70, man. And he walks around with a cane and fucking long ass fucking looking like a hippie. Fucking made his own cane. Fucking everything. He knows all this shit. He was telling me shit that, bro, the public, I don't know, man. The public shouldn't know about. Really. He was telling me how Tesla, man, even back then, he didn't even mention Tesla, and I knew what it was. He was telling me the whole mechanics between getting, see, what you do is, like how Tesla did it was he would get this copper tower, right? And he would fucking grab energy bouncing from the earth, between the ground, and the fucking atmosphere, and he would grab that energy coming back and forth. Energy, this electricity, I say energy, but electricity, energy, whatever you want to call it, is always bouncing from the ground to the atmosphere and back. Hell, they used a theory in the Manhattan Project based on Tesla's theory that if you were to have a satellite that had radio waves, you could bounce it off the fucking atmosphere. And they called it a long range communication. It's like some kind of form of long range communication that can go over 4,000 miles. They did that in World War II. They started using that shit in World War II, man. Straight up. How do you think we were communicating with people in Pearl Harbor? Bro. I'm telling you. And then you got fucking FDR back then, when fucking FDR was in office. He fucking, whenever the people that were on the, what was it? I read a book on this shit too, and I actually heard about it before I even read the book, where fucking dude turned his back on the distress call coming from Pearl Harbor whenever Japan attacked, and they didn't even have the what do you call it? The fucking this was all to start a war with Japan and all this shit. They used our emotions, and then they fucking had this dude that did statistics in a news station that would go up to the president or the fucking people working for the president that he would send overseas and everything. And they had this guy, man, that fucking would get information. He's like a CIA agent. He spoke a little Russian. He went to Russia. He went to fucking Britain. He went to... It was like a special agent. And he went around talking to all these people. And the statistic... When he went back to the States, this was like towards the end of the war. You know, when we went to war with Japan and dropped those 2 bombs on them. Fucking ended up saying statistically everybody wants to go to fucking war. And you know, this was this was the government or somebody in the government sending out votes, these voter ballots to these people in the mail, and then they would send them back, and about, what was it, 85% of America wants to go to war. Like, they did this shit. They really did this shit. And I'm not kidding, man. They preyed on our emotions back then. But yeah, fucking FDR turned his back on the distress call. He fucking turned around, lit a cigarette, and started smoking. That's what it said. That's what it said.
There will be another crash, and it'll drop, he thinks, 2,000 points.
This is what they do, guys, and they've done it to me. They wanted me to turn my back.
See what happens. I hope it isn't true. Number 15, create industrial depression and financial panics, unemployment. I've already covered that. Number 16, infiltrate into the secret Freemasonry to be used.
It's all a big fucking illusion. Even these gang stalkers. And when they use those numbers, the numbers that they use against you, it's all a big fucking illusion. To scare you. To fucking get you to join them. Straight up.
For their purposes. That's been documented many times. Number 17, expound the value of systematic deception. Use high-sounding slogans and phrases and advocate lavish promises to the masses, even though they cannot be kept. Again, Bill Clinton. George Bush was good at that too, by the way.
Join these motherfuckers, they're gonna throw you under the bus eventually. So, any of you motherfuckers watching this shit, you a dumb bitch. Heh.
What's the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats high up? Nothing. Zero. You know, Mr. A, who has a booth next to mine, mysterious Mr. A, he talks about subliminal messages. If you look at the logo of the Republican Party.
They did this, okay, what he's about to talk about, they did this with the red and blue in politics. Blue was supposed to be Republican, red was supposed to be Democrats. They changed that up, didn't they, guys?
You know the elephant with the 3 stars across the top? Well, if you look at it today compared to 2 years...
Just like with Trump, they did this shit.
...years ago, the stars have been inverted. The point used to be at the top 2 years ago. Now, the point's at the bottom. Satanic, folks. I can't say for sure, but that's a subliminal message. Inverted stars. Number 18, detailed plan.
They're, the ones that go along with this shit, telling them that, you know.
For resolution, discuss the art of street fighting, which is necessary to bring the population to a speedy subjection. Number 19, use their agent to...
Upside down 6, which makes a 9. They had my number as 89999. Okay? At the end. Alright, those last 4 digits. They didn't like how I changed my number. They fucking got pissed as fuck. They tried to get me... whenever I called to change my number, this bitch that answered, you know, in customer service or whatever, she was fucking odd, bro. She was like, oh, you need to change your number, okay, yada yada. And she would take forever on the fucking computer, dude. Like she wasn't really trying to help me change my number. She would be silent for a long fucking time. And then I eventually hung up and called again, and a dude answered, and he's like, oh, okay, you want to change your number, yada, yada, yada. That was the quickest fucking shit ever, because I was like, okay, can I get credit for, you know, because since I've been a fucking member, or a prepaid member, or whatever, you know, I've had y'all's phone, I had service with y'all forever now. Can you just give me like a $25 credit, because it takes $25 to change your number? And, because I only changed my number because of those 3 fucking 9s, because it's a sign that this individual this group, or like Republican, like he talked about the star going upside down. This is our plan. That's one of their messages too. Upside down six, upside down star. This guy, this individual is against the Illuminati and our agenda and yada yada yada. And every time I recited that number to people in the court, they would just get all weird. They would get all weird. And dude, I'm telling y'all, man, if y'all were me, y'all would know what I'm talking about. This ain't no fucking schizophrenic bullshit. Cause I know how to depict, or how to how do you say it? Not depict. I know how to differentiate between the whole fucking schizophrenic, and the schizophrenic mindset is this whole dimension that you live in inside of your head, that everything's bad, everything's this bad thing, but the world's out to get you or some shit. I already know what it is, cause bro, after something had happened, or like something, like let's say I have this distrust, after, like, or maybe I met this person and they were talking and all this shit. Fucking, I'm like, oh fuck, they're one of them. And then I come to realize, like, dude, it's all in the head, man. It's all in the head. I know how to differentiate between a schizophrenic mindset and a clean one, I guess you could say. I know how to stop that. Like I've never had the problem where I was paranoid. Like I've never had that problem. I've never had the problem of being paranoid. Okay, never had the problem of schizophrenic. Never had those problems. Never. And these motherfuckers have been targeting me for a long motherfucking time. Okay, I was 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles out in the fucking desert. Okay, and they use these numbers. I'm gonna tell y'all. They use these fucking numbers, man. They were using this number. Fuck, dude. I'll get into it later. But they were using this number to try and, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. They want me to shoot somebody. That's what they want. When I was in the game, they were shooting a gun in front of me. Right? This guy, he was just shooting in the air, and we're on the other side of the map. And he's just shooting in front of me, like across, and not in my direction or anything, just right across. And this other guy's name, what was it? Oh, was it? No, but it was something 1, 2, 3. And then there was this guy that I was reading through these comments. Hold on. This is weird too. And his name was something 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Let's see. His name was 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So yeah, okay, yeah. I went to this video that I was commenting on, right? Remember I was commenting. Look at this shit. Watch this shit. It's gonna blow your fucking mind away. It's and JJ. They call me Jay sometimes. There was a number of 1, 2, 3, 4 somewhere, which is weird. It was somewhere. But they want 1, 2, 3, 4 means that they want me to go along with it. They want me to do it. They're telling me they want. So that's another thing y'all should watch out for as well. That's another subliminal message as well. But this guy, man, I want to continue this.
Use their agentures as advisors behind the scenes after wars through secret diplomacy to gain control. Number 20, establish huge monopoly.
But yeah, that 1, 2, 3, 4 shit only happened after I told people through a fucking post that when I get my AR-15, I want y'all to fucking do what y'all do while I have my gun. Because I'm gonna fucking kill one of you motherfuckers one day. It's gonna happen regardless. And I'm gonna fucking tell them in court. I'm gonna tell them every fucking thing. I'm gonna tell them how y'all motherfuckers are in on it. How the whole government's in on it. And y'all shouldn't be fucking trampling over our Constitution like you do. Get it right, guys. And the Second Amendment's gonna protect me. Because, you know, I'm not giving up my rights. No, don't know what you're talking about. Mueller versus the Supreme Court of the United States. Already, or Heller versus the Supreme Court of the United States.
World government control, we're seeing that today, the huge monopolies. Number 21, use high taxes and unfair
I should look up Heller versus Supreme Court.
competition to bring about economic ruin by controlling raw materials, organized agitation among the workers, and subsidizing competitors. GATT, NAFTA. Number 22, build up armaments with police and soldiers sufficient to protect our interests. A few years ago, we had 11 federal agencies that were authorized to carry sidearms, firearms. Now we have 39. Number 23, members and leaders of the One World Government would be appointed by the director. Okay, Presidential Directive 25.
I think this is where they were talking about on the news back when this whole issue with Donald Trump and shit, and they were talking about him giving up his title or his presidency to, or this authority to the United Nations.
Allows the president, by the way, this is classified, secret, not available to the general public, allows and orders that the President of the United States, in the event of a conflict or a crisis in this country, transfers the power, his powers, over to the Secretary General of the United Nations.
And that was on the news. I remember hearing about it. I remember watching it. And they were like, they were talking about how Trump refused to give his authority over to the United Nations. Straight up. Guys, Trump was a pawn. Biden's a pawn. All that shit is controlled.
Number 24, infiltrate into all classes and levels of society, of government, for the purpose of fooling, bemusing, and corrupting the youth members of society by teaching them theories and principles that we know to be false. This is the outcome-based education program being shoved down our throats by the United Nations. Number 25, national and international laws should be used to destroy.
Back then, everybody was against the New World Order. It was always the New World Order, New World Order, New World Order this, New World Order this. Fucking United Nations needs to go. I used to see a sign. I used to see these signs from the 60s, 50s, or, you know, maybe 70s. Yeah, shit like that, right? Fucking used to see these signs, man, and they would say, fuck the United Nations, fuck the NWO, all this shit, excuse me, and all this shit, man, and I'm like, you know, now I get it, because now they don't say that. Now they just say Illuminati and Freemasons, you know. We used to be at the root of the problem. Now now the root of the problem has come to the front lines. Now it's at the front lines.
Civilization. There's talk about the world population being decreased to 500 million. The United States population being decreased to 20 million. And we look at the war that we had in the Gulf War syndrome. Look at the people that died there. There were 700,000 troops, American troops there.
And see, nobody's going to mention that. They didn't even mention that. I've never learned that in history. I learned about the Gulf War, but I never heard the numbers of deaths or anything. Never knew that many fucking people died. In the Gulf War? Really? Why was this not mentioned? Never mentioned through, like, I learned about the Gulf War. It wasn't as bad as that, like he's talking about. The numbers weren't that much.
Fifth of them today cannot even do a push-up because they're so ill and so sick. They've been washed out of the service. We have a new army, basically.
Just like they're doing now. What they did back then, They're doing now.
And
It's a cycle that keeps being repeated because they repeat it and convince people subconsciously to try to manipulate and control them. And that's why they have this whole chemtrail shit. So you're dumb enough to fucking follow along with their little programming, their little mind control shit, right? But smart enough to, you know what I mean, to keep functioning.
the story goes on and on. Okay.
To go along with their agenda.
What are we talking about here? There's a considerable overlap in the United States from the various groups, organizations, individuals, whatever you want to call it. But one of the driving forces behind this movement, the Illuminati, is the satanic cult movement in this country today. Now, when Alina gave me that signed statement, I said, what in the world is this all about? I don't know anything about Satanism. I'd heard the word, and that's about it. From the Bible, of course. So I began my little journey forward. And one of the matters that I developed information about was an individual I learned about was Aleister Crowley. He likes to have his name pronounced Crowley to rhyme with holy. And the Satanists today, and for the number of years in the past, have basically used his philosophy and his writings as a guide. And so let's talk about some of his writings and teachings. And here we have of the bloody sacrifice. And here we have the blood is the life.
I went to go try to sell my night vision on this Facebook account that I made, right? I go to try to sell my night vision. This fucking Freemason, cop sympathizer piece of shit, okay, fucking messages me and he's like, is it still available? I go to check out that bitch's profile. He starts fucking all his posts was nothing about, just all about fucking police, how he sympathizes with these fucking treasonous dogs and everything else. Oh, I wish I'm glad that they caught this bitch and killed him and yada yada yada. Dude, bro.
And here on page 94 of his book.
And they were promoting the new sheriff as well of Las Cruces. They want they're trying to, you know, do a whole, you know, vote on this new sheriff, and he was having a meeting at the suit or the fucking where the sheriff's department is. He was having a meeting and everybody could come and all that shit and yada yada and talk about shit and fucking meet and greet and yada yada, you know, having a whole get together. And he posted about it too. I'll have to go through and fucking post who it was. And
it would be unwise to condemn as irrational the practice of those savages who tear the heart and liver from an adversary and devour them while yet warm. In any case, it was the theory of the ancient magicians that any living being is a storehouse of energy varying in quantity according to the size and health of the animal and in quality according to its mental and moral character. At the death of the animal, this energy is liberated suddenly. The animal should therefore be killed within the circle. We're talking about the satanic circle, or the triangle, as the base may be, so that its energy cannot escape. An animal should be selected whose nature accords that.
You know what's weird, man? I used to stay in this trailer house. It was these two trailer houses. It was like before I moved from Texas. I was staying with this guy. He was like my roommate, or, you know, whatever. Or I was staying as his roommate. And he used to do drugs and shit and play his guitar. I used to stay up at night with him, but I never did any drugs. I never did meth. I never did anything like that. Fucking, what wound up happening? Right. He brought in his girlfriend, right? And she started recording this shit. like intuitionally, she like something told her to start recording, and she went into the living room and fucking turns around, and down the hallway there was this fucking image of a man. I kid you fucking not, guys. I'm not delusional or anything. She showed me this shit, and she's like, dude, check this shit out. I fucking looked at it, and it was a man coming from their bedroom to go into their kid's bedroom. Their kid's bedroom's door is right there at their door. Like, dude, that was fucking creepy as fuck, bro. I moved from there, and I start renting this other place, right? Or this other trailer house, right? Like, fucking a street over and down the road. There was these group of trailer houses that were being rented out by this ex-judge. He was like the judge of Texarkana, Texas back then. He used to be the judge. He was like an ex-judge. Ended up renting all these houses out, and he rented me one, and I stayed in it. My closet, I kid you fucking not, guys. I kid you not. Every fucking night, there was always some kind of thing bouncing around in there. Like, I was like, it was weird, bro. It was like, it would come from this one spot. And it's weird. It's just, I'm just saying, like, this actually happened. And I'm thinking, like, you know, there's something spiritual. Like, some people say that these fucking spirits get caught up in these enclosed spaces, the closets, and all this shit, right? So what I winded up doing was, I started closing my eyes, and I told whatever it was, just like, be at rest, be at peace, you know. And I started sending my energy out, that message. I kid you fucking not, bro. That shit, it would go on all night. And I'm not lying. I kid you not, bro. It stopped. It literally fucking stopped right after I stopped praying. Or, something like that. Like, well, not praying, but, trying to communicate with these things, whatever they were. I swear, man, it's just like something told me to just do this, and they'll stop. Like, something told me that it was a spirit or something that was caught up in this closet, and it was bouncing around and doing all this shit, and it was weird, man. It was, I'm not kidding, it really did happen. It wasn't rats, it wasn't fucking mice. I mean, there was no way. There was just no way, man. Like, I put mouse traps down and everything. Nothing happened. Nothing. The fucking bread wasn't gone. There was nothing there. There was no rat feces anywhere. I never saw any fucking rat feces in that house. Never saw any rat poo or anything. There was never really any mice in that house. Not really. And dude, it was weird. I just got to tell y'all that. I mean,
with that of the ceremony, thus by sacrificing a female lamb, one would not obtain any appreciative quantity of the fierce energy useful to a magician who was invoking Mars. In such a case, a ram would be more suitable, and this ram should be virgin. The whole potential of its original total energy should not have been diminished in any ways. And now listen to this sentence, folks, closely. For the highest spiritual working, one must accordingly choose that victim which contains the greatest and purest force. A male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence is the most satisfactory and suitable system. We're talking about human sacrifices. There are, in my estimation, over 3 million practicing Satanists in America today. Now, how did I come up with those figures? I have informants. I have an informant in South Central LA, population of 200,000, told me there are 3,000 practicing Satanists in that area. That's where the famous, well-known case, McMartin case on the preschool took place. I have an informant in Lincoln, Nebraska, told me 3,000 practicing Satanists. Lincoln, Nebraska, town of 200,000, South Bay area. Manhattan Beach area, about 200,000.
I just want to do a little commentary on this video.
How much?
You know, some of the things that he talks about, I can kind of relate to. I can talk about. I know about. But yeah, I just wanted to end my video on that note. But and I know that y'all have watched this video. I apologize, but I wanted to do commentary there and tell y'all about that. But yeah, guys, you know, think for yourself. You know, if y'all want to talk to me, honestly, guys, I really, you know, wish y'all can talk to me through the comments on this video, on my videos, but they censor all the comments and everything, so I apologize for that as well. But anyway, guys, think for yourself. Think for yourself. Thanks, guys.